super excited. We got a little bit of time off, but I think that just brings us together even more. And, we got a week to go show what we can do. And I think we're going to have a good chance at winning it.
Welcome to episode 401 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. We have a trio of great guests coming up, as well as some news on what to expect with the pod for next week. But first, the news headlines, and we'll start in Major League Baseball. Another pretty good week for Dogs Academy and Okotoks Dogs alum Tristan Peters. The Chicago White Sox outfielder picked up a few more hits, including a solo homer Sunday against Cleveland. He's hitting .290 with 5 homers, 31 RBI, and 5 stolen bases in 87 games this season. A couple more appearances for Vauxhall Academy grad Adam Macko over the past week, and he had his struggles. Against Seattle on Saturday, the Toronto Blue Jays rookie allowed 3 runs on 3 hits and 2 strikeouts in a loss to the Mariners. Then on Monday, he gave up another 2 runs on 2 hits and no strikeouts in an inning of work in a 10-1 loss to San Fran. He's 2-0 on the season with a .363 ERA and 17 appearances, striking out 17. Quite the busy week for Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski, as he had 4 outings in a span of 6 days. During that stretch, he allowed 1 run on 2 hits with 4 walks and 3 strikeouts in 3 full innings of work to lower his ERA to .333 to go along with 48 strikeouts in 34 games. And not the best of updates on Calgary's Michael Soroka, as he threw a bullpen session a little over a week ago now, and the Arizona Diamondbacks hurler hasn't been on the mound since. Now, manager Torey Lovello does say he's hoping Soroka can throw again on Sunday and another session 4 days later. He's been on the IL since June 19th. In minor league baseball, we'll check in on a few we haven't in a while. A big congratulations to start things off to Dogs Academy alum Ty Doucette, who's been named the Florida State League Player of the Week. The Nova Scotia native hit .385 with 3 homers and 9 RBI for the single-A Daytona Tortugas, lifting his numbers to .314 on the season with 8 homers and 27 RBI in 31 games. Vauxhall Academy and Sylvan Lake Gulls alum Tyler Boudreau had a bit of a rocky outing on Saturday. He went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 5 hits and 3 walks, while striking out 4 in the single-A Tampa Tarpons' 10-3 win over the St. Lucie Mets. After a stint on the IL, Dogs Academy alum Matt Wilkinson is back in AAA with Sacramento River Cats. He made a start on Sunday, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks, while striking out 3 in 3 2/3 in an 11-2 loss to El Paso. Speaking of the Chihuahuas, Bigger's Garrett Hawkins was sent down from El Paso to the AA San Antonio Missions just over a week ago. He's 1-0 on the season with a .568 ERA and 23 strikeouts in 23 relief appearances. And after a handful of rough outings in AAA, Regina's Thomas Ireland is heading back to the AA Frisco Rough Riders. He's 1-1 on the season with a .476 ERA and 20 appearances, striking out 41. Over to the WCBL now, and the big news is that the All-Star Game rosters have been unveiled. 5 players from each of the 12 teams will be making their way to Saskatoon for All-Star Weekend, July 18th and 19th. You can head to our websites for the full roster rundowns. We're also expecting to hear about the bunt competition, the home run derby contestants, and the starting lineups in the days ahead. In other news around the circuit, the Lethbridge Bulls have moved up to top spot in the power rankings after they went 9-1 during their last 10. Okotoks and Saskatoon round out the top 3. Jose Vargas of the Brooks Bombers was named the Village Brewery Alberta Player of the Week, while the Saskatchewan Player of the Week honors went to Brady Bai of the Regina Red Sox. Now that award is presented by SaskTel. Our own Ian Wilson is stopping by in just a few minutes to talk about all things WCBL. Over in the West Coast League, the Edmonton Riverhawks went 3-3 over the past week to move to a game over .500 on the season with a 16-15 record. They are 5.5 back of Wenatchee for top spot in the North Division. A few moves in the college ranks recently. Jackson Zanoli is taking the next step, heading to Northwest Missouri State University. Friend of the show, Kai Rempel, is going from Cloud County to Jacksonville State University. Vauxhall Academy alum Eric Reiling is heading from Bismarck State College to Minot State. AHP Academy hurler Ryan Kwasnitzia is moving from Pratt Community College to Northern State University. Dogs Academy product Tay Thierman Zimmerman is committing to Coastal Carolina University, and another friend of the show, Rhett Anderson of Baseball Sask and Barry's Academy, joins Prairie Baseball Academy. Over in the Baseball Alberta Elite League, the Parkland Twins continue to lead the pack with a 19-4 mark. Then it's a logjam with 6 teams sitting between 13 and 16 victories. A big shout out as well to Caleb Bozek of the Red Deer Castor Rangers on tossing a no-hitter over this past weekend. We have a story up on that accomplishment at albertadugoutstories.com. In the Saskatchewan Premier Baseball League, the Saskatoon Diamondbacks are sitting in top spot at 17-4. They're followed by the East Central Red Sox, who are just a half game back at 19-7, while the White Butte Broncos are in third at 18-9. And it's national championship season for Baseball Canada, and it all gets going this weekend in Winnipeg with the Women's Open National Championship. We've mentioned this in passing before, but Baseball Alberta will not have a team in this year's tournament. We're working on a story about this development, and we'll have more on it in the weeks ahead. Now, Team Alberta will have a few of its athletes still taking part, including Fort McMurray's Sydney Berry suiting up for Saskatchewan, Edmonton's Madison Willen playing for BC, while Cassie Matlock is going to Nova Scotia, and Calgary's Juliana Scott will play for Team Quebec Powder Blue. We'll chat with Team Sask's Beth Sarauer in just a few minutes. The next big national championship will be the Road to Okotoks, which starts on Tuesday. We have some special content being planned for that, which we'll outline near the end of this week's show. That's it for the news, and when we come back, we'll hear from Beth Sarauer, Kaleb Bozek, and our own Ian Wilson. This is Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast.
I think Baseball Canada is in a good place.
I think we're starting to take a step in the right direction, personally.
I think it says, we're developing, we're moving forward, and I think this country is starting to be more than just a hockey nation.
There was never like a championship for all of Canada, so I think this will be really exciting for people. It'll get people excited about baseball and kind of have an ultimate goal for Canadian baseball.
What they're trying to do with this tournament is just kind of give access to more players, more teams, and make it, even more interesting to the masses.
I think people are excited about it. There's really good baseball players in Canada. This is a great opportunity for them to show their talents on a big stage.
If I could go back in time and did it all over again, I would have killed to have this opportunity.
People put the money where your mouth is now. It's exciting to hear about.
The Morneau Cup is coming. Go to theroadtookotoks.ca for all the details. Welcome back to the show, and we'll start things off with this weekend's Baseball Canada Women's National Championships in Winnipeg. It's actually going to be the start of a very busy summer for Clavet's Beth Sarauer, who isn't just representing Team Sask at that tournament, but she'll also be heading to the 16U and 19U Nationals in Moncton and Saskatoon, respectively. Plus, she's also been playing for a club team, so it's been all baseball all the time for the rising star, who's hoping to learn a lot with the veterans in her first stint with the women's team. Beth, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It all starts this weekend with the Women's Open Nationals in Manitoba. How excited are you to get things rolling?
I'm very excited to get going this weekend.
What is it about these kinds of tournaments in your eyes that makes it so special?
It's just a great experience overall. Like, I get to hang out with all my teammates. I get to do things I would never get to do outside of these tournaments. And, play some good ball.
What's the buzz amongst the teams in terms of what needs to happen to get yourselves onto the podium again this year?
I think we have a lot of strong arms this year, so I think we'll be good there. I think we just need to get on the bats and play some good defense.
Going into this weekend's tournament, you're just coming off a practice actually for the Open tournament. Do you have any goals or expectations of yourself going into it?
Not necessarily. I just want to play with confidence. I think I won't get a ton of playing time, which is like normal for a younger player, but I'd be happy with just playing good,
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was thinking, as one of the younger players on this team, we're going to get to you playing on the 16U and 19U teams as well in a second, but how much of an experience like the women's team is going to be about being a sponge and learning from all these other women around you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I get to be around players that are so much older than me and have so much more experience, and I get to learn from that this weekend, and I think it'll be lots of fun.
Is there anybody that you've already started to kind of lean towards being like, hey, can you be my mentor of sorts?
Well, I have played with a lot of the girls before, and I did AP for U19 last year, so I know all of them. So, yeah, it should be yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously, as I mentioned, it's not all that you're going to be doing this summer because you've got the 16U and the 19U Sask teams to play for as well. How excited are you for those two events as well?
I'm very excited to go to both of them. It should be fun. 19U will be in Saskatoon this year, so we get to have lots of family out, and U16 will be in New Brunswick, so that'll be very fun.
How cool is that going to be with that 19U event? Because you're going to have family, friends there. It's going to be the real hometown advantage kind of thing.
Yeah, I watched U16 last 2 years ago when it was in Saskatoon, and it seemed really fun, so I'm excited for that.
Have you thought about that moment where you get to step out onto the field and you look around and you're like, this is my home. This is where people are going to be cheering for us. Like, that's got to be a pretty cool thought.
Yeah, it will be fun.
How cool is it to walk into that clubhouse and there's your jersey, there's your hat. This is your province. Like, walk me through that first time that you got to rep Sask.
It's crazy to me that I get to play for Team Sask and get the opportunities to do this. It means a lot to me that I have the right people around me and the right opportunities. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The teams have all performed really well in recent years as well. What would it mean to you to, again, bring home a couple of medals when all is said and done this summer?
It would be great to bring home some medals. I think we brought bronze home last year in U19, and I think we'll have a chance in senior this year. So.
Absolutely. Let's get into your baseball past here a little bit, Beth. Originally from Clavet. How'd you get into baseball in the first place?
My parents both grew up in big baseball families. My mom played softball and my dad played in a big baseball family. So right when I was young, I got put in, and yeah, I loved it ever since.
What was it about the game that you really loved more than anything else?
I think it was just the competitive side of it. It was something different for me. It was different than most other games, and I liked that about it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of other games, I couldn't help but notice you've got some hockey in you as well. What other sports did you play growing up?
I did join volleyball in grade 7. I've played hockey my whole life as well, and I golf a little bit too. So there's that.
Cool. Very cool. What was it about the game of baseball in particular that made you go, hey, I want to chase this. I want to play it as high as I possibly can?
I just had a drive for baseball. As long as I can remember, it was it's a team sport, but also an individual sport where it's you can just be both and be surrounded by people that are there for you. And I just really like that about it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite player or a team that you look up to?
I've been cheering for the Toronto Blue Jays my whole life.
No, that seems to be a common denominator here in Canada.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite player?
I would say probably Vladdy, just because he plays first and I played first a lot.
Not a bad one, although I'd like to see a few more home runs out of him before the end of the season here, that's for sure. When you look back on the baseball journey to this point, do you have a favorite memory or moment that really stands out to you where you had to take that step back and go, okay, this is pretty cool?
I can't think of a specific one, but most of my memories from baseball would be honestly off-field stuff, just around my teammates and my coaches and laughing and stuff.
On the flip side, we all know baseball is a game of failure. What's the biggest challenge or hurdle you've had to overcome that you're super proud of yourself for being able to do it?
There's always a lot of mental blocks, especially as I'm a pitcher when something's off and I can't find the zone. It's always hard for me, but I sometimes learn to get over it. I sometimes recognize what's going wrong and how to fix it. So I can sometimes overcome it like that. And then when I make a mistake, I just tell myself to reset and get the next one. It's there's always going to be mistakes everywhere, and it's normal. Mm-hmm. So
it's amazing to me how you almost have to kind of do that positive self-talk to a certain extent, right? You can't hide behind another line on the ice kind of thing. You really need to be in that moment and take advantage, eh?
Yeah.
A few fun ones here before we let you go. First off, what's your walk-up tune?
This year was Nice for What by Drake, but I was thinking about doing Who's That Girl by Eve since I play in a boys league.
That is fair. Hey, on that note, how much of a challenge is that, or is it a challenge at all? Because I know in some cases it can be a bit of a rocky start, but in other cases I've heard, hey, you know what, the boys are all in on you. What's your experience been like?
It's been pretty good so far, honestly. My team's been fairly good. I have another girl on my team, which is nice. At the beginning of the year, it was a little rocky, but we got through it, and it's all fun now.
Fantastic to hear. More fun ones for you. What's your favorite food when you're at the ballpark there as a fan?
I would say Spitz. I go through bakes like crazy.
You might actually be the very first person on this show. We're on episode 401 now, and you're the first to say Spitz, and that is shocking to me. At the same time, do you have a favorite flavor that you have for Spitz?
I usually go to dill.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The dill pickle is where it's at for sure. And finally, what's your favorite ballpark that you've ever played at?
I would say the Calgary.
Is that the Weber Academy one that you guys were at?
Yeah, that one.
That's a pretty good one too, and great view of the mountains too, I must say, as somebody who lives out this neck of the woods. So absolutely. Yeah. Two more that we have for you before we let you go. They're the ones we ask everybody here on the show. For those young kids who are just starting out on their baseball journeys and they want to get to where you're at now, what's the one piece of advice or words of wisdom you've learned along the way that you'd love to pass along to them?
I would honestly say to not lose yourself along the way. I know a lot of people get caught up in the skills part and the competitive part, and it's you just got to take a step back and recognize that you're here for fun and you're here for the playing the game and just being around people that love the game too.
Absolutely. And the final one, what does the game of baseball mean to you, Beth?
I love baseball so much. It's somewhere I can go where my head just turns off and I get to play and let my skills come through.
Absolutely. We've had an absolute joy getting a chance to hear more about your journey, Beth. Congratulations on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success with Team Sask this summer and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take another break here on the show, and when we come back, we'll head to the WCBL for a pair of great conversations. This is Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. Jump.ca, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has all your bases covered with SaskTel wireless, internet, TV, and home security services. Bring it all together at the Jump.ca event experience July 12th when the Saskatoon Berries host the Swift Current 57s. Jump.ca, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Welcome back to the show, and we'll keep things rolling with a young Alberta man who is freshly out of high school but making a big impact in the WCBL. Kaleb Bozek has become a strong piece of the bullpen for the Brooks Bombers, pitching in 8 games, allowing just 4 earned runs while striking out 12 and 15 plus. The Castor native and Neutral Hills Academy alum is now plying his trade at Vauxhall Academy and is set to rejoin them for the road to Okotoks next week. We chatted all about it earlier in the week. Kaleb, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Putting some wins together recently with the Brooks Bombers. How's everyone feeling around the clubhouse these days?
We're feeling good, It's a rough start to the season, but, we're feeling good now. We're getting some wins under our belt.
You mentioned that rough start. How do you keep the vibes high in a room when you know you're maybe a bounce or two away from a few more W's?
Yeah, we got some older guys on the team. It's just, you just got to stay positive. They know what they're doing, so you just listen to them and you just keep it going and working hard every day. So working towards some wins.
I've been mentioning this a little bit on the WCBL report, especially a team like Brooks. There's a lot of new faces, and there's also a little bit of late arrivals, that kind of stuff. I know Jose Vargas only arrived at the end of June as an example. How much of it is finding the cadence of the team and finding everybody's roles as people are rolling in, as your guys are all trying to get settled kind of thing?
Yeah, once everybody starts to roll in here, I think we're pretty close to having our full team. It's been good. The guys are getting settled in, and can do their job and feel pretty well. So I think we're meshing pretty well as a team.
Mm-hmm. What's the message in the room as we head into this last month of the regular season?
It's just stay positive and keep working hard, and things will happen as they happen. Just keep working hard. The wins will come.
Mm-hmm. On a personal level, how happy are you with your performance to this point?
I've been really happy. It's getting the innings in, and I've been pitching pretty well, so I'm feeling good.
What's been working for you?
Yeah, just honestly, just competing every game. Just saying, I'm young, but I think I can play with these guys. It's just working hard and competing every day.
You mentioned the young part. You mentioned the competing with the guys. How reassuring is it to know that, hey, you can hang with some of the big boys and some of these veterans who've got 4 or 5 years of experience kind of thing?
Yeah, it's good. it's encouraging, especially for whatever's coming up next with college and, the road to Okotoks here. But I'm confident in what I can do, and it's pretty reassuring.
Mm-hmm. How much of it is also a learning experience as well? Because you get to be around some veterans, some guys who've been around the college block a little bit. How much are you kind of poking and prodding and getting into their mindsets a little bit?
Yeah, it's good to talk to guys, pick their brains, and just see what they do on a daily basis. You can learn from it. You can take what you want from it. It's good to see, for sure.
How cool is it being so close to home as well and maybe enjoying some of those creature comforts?
Yeah, it's nice, playing around some of the ballparks that you're going to watch guys in, and you finally get to play in it. It's pretty fun to play in and good atmosphere. So,
have you been able to get mom and dad out for a game or that kind of thing?
Yeah, they come out quite a bit, so it's pretty good support from them.
What goes through a mind when you get to look out into the crowd and there's some familiar faces? Like, that's got to be a pretty surreal experience.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome because they support me whenever they can, and they do it a lot. So it's always nice to have them around, and just gives you an extra confidence boost.
For sure. What would it mean to you to take home a WCBL championship at the end of the summer?
It'd be great. First year in the league, I think it's more. I'm thinking just try to learn from it, but if you can add the cherry on top with the WCBL championship, that's even better.
Absolutely. Let's get in your baseball past here a little bit, Kaleb. Originally from Castor, how'd you get into baseball in the first place?
Well, I started out really young, and then I fell in love with it. So we went on. I played at Neutral Hills Academy. Then I went to Vauxhall Academy, which I'm at right now, and then I just fell in love with it, and it's been good ever since.
Was it all baseball all the time in your house, or were you a multi-sport kid?
No, I was pretty multi-sport. I played a lot of hockey growing up.
Mm-hmm. What was it about baseball that made you go, I want to chase that dream?
I don't know. It was just hockey was getting too much, and I thought baseball was like, I like this a lot. Play it every day, and I could do that for the rest of my life.
Did you have a favorite team growing up, or maybe a favorite player that you idolized?
Easily the Blue Jays for the favorite team, and favorite player, I'd probably say Mike Trout. He was my guy.
That is a pretty good one indeed. Generational talent, and I'd argue underappreciated at the same time. So I like that pick. Sure. Do you remember the moment when it turned for you, when you actually made that decision of, okay, this is the dream I want to chase?
I think it was in 15U. I went to the Western Championships. And we ended up winning that, and I was like, geez, I can really play this game, it's like, this is fun, and winning is really fun. So I just wanted to chase it, and it's been amazing since. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Neutral Hills. Looking back on that experience, what was that like?
It was really fun. Like, I was younger there. I think it was grade 9 and grade 10. So it was, you're kind of around the older guys as well, but it was super fun to just go out every day, compete with them, go to school with them. Like, it was a great experience. And then you make the trek south, you go to Vauxhall. When you look back on it and you're still part of it, what does that program mean to you and your development, not just as a ball player, but as a human being as well? Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Like, they have the motto, it's better person, better player, and it's true there. Like, the coaches, they instill that in you, and they make you a better baseball player, but just the dorms and the entire lifestyle there, it makes you a better person. That just comes along with the baseball side.
For sure. It's got to be pretty cool as well to see some alumni doing some pretty big things, especially as a guy who slings it, right? And Adam Macko is an example, or Garrett Hawkins is in AAA. Like, what's that? How cool is that, being able to maybe lean on that and go, hey, maybe I can go there too one day?
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I think we were all in the dorms when Macko made his debut, and we were all watching. It's just like surreal that you think maybe I can get there someday. It's pretty fun to see that. For sure. You mentioned it earlier on as well. You're going to be taking a little bit of a break from the WCBL because in about a week's time, it is the road to Okotoks. How excited is that squad to show what it can do on a national stage like that? Yeah, we're super excited. We got a little bit of time off, but I think that just brings us together even more. And, we got a week to go show what we can do. And I think we're going to have a good chance at winning it. So, how tight is that group that you guys have right now? Very tight. I mean, we're locked in, even though we're not together as a team. Like, we're as locked in as we can be, and we're ready to go. How cool would that be to be the first to win a Morneau Cup? That'd be really cool. I mean, with the group that's there, you live with them for an entire year. If you can win that, it's cherry on top to an already great season.
Absolutely. When you look back on the journey to this point, do you have a favorite memory or moment that stands out to you where you're like, had to take that step back and go, okay, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, I'd say this year with Vauxhall, we went down to the Bishop Gorman tournament in Vegas. And first game of the tournament, we played Bishop Gorman. And we ended up beating them 3-1. I think they were like a top 20 team in the nation at that point. So it's like, it's pretty cool to just sit back and realize, like, hey, we can do this with the best of them.
For sure. On the flip side, baseball's a game of failure. What's the biggest challenge or hurdle that you had to overcome where you're super proud of yourself looking back on it that you were able to rise above?
Yeah, I think it's just, you got to compete with everybody, whether there's guys that are really good or like ahead of you in the game, and it's just being able to show up every day and compete with them, even if you're maybe not as good, but you can still show that you can compete and just be as good as them eventually. It's definitely what I'd say.
A few fun ones before we let you go, Kaleb. First off, what's your walk-in tune?
Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
Oh, very nice. And that gets the crowd going too, which is always a good thing. When you're at the ballpark as a fan, what's your go-to food?
I'd have to say it's probably either a hot dog or just a bag of popcorn.
On the hot dog side, what's the condiments of choice?
It's just ketchup, maybe a little bit of cheese if it's the option.
All right, I like that. Yeah. No mustard, eh? Like, it's a very contentious thing. So I know some people like one or the other. Some are both. I'm a both guy, but it's funny how divisive it can be. So that is awesome. And finally, what's your baseball ick? Like the thing that you have to shake your head about when you're on the field?
I'd say when hitters just are in the box and you throw a strike and then they shake their head kind of towards their dugout and they're thinking they're all ready to go. I'd say that, especially as a pitcher.
It's that first pitch strike right down the middle where they're just like, yep, okay, I got it. And you're like, why didn't you just swing at that, man? I'm guilty of that, so I totally get it. A couple more for you. They're the ones we ask everybody here on the show. When it comes to those young kids who are just starting out on their baseball journeys and they want to get to where you're at now, what's the one piece of advice or words of wisdom you've learned along the way that you'd love to pass along to them?
I'd say you got to work hard every single day. Like nothing's given in this game, but I'd also say you got to have fun with it. And if you lose the love, then there's it's tough to be good in the sport. You got to have fun every single day.
Absolutely. And finally, what does the game of baseball mean to you, Kaleb?
Everything. Absolutely. It's done so much for me with friends and connections and all that kind of thing. It means everything to me.
Well, it's meant a lot for us to be able to get to know a little bit more about your journey, Kaleb, in the game. Congrats on all the success to this point. Continued success this summer with Brooks, with Vauxhall, and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we'll wrap things up this week by heading back to the WCBL All-Star Game roster announcement as we are just a week away from the full weekend of fun in Saskatoon. The break also serves as the unofficial halfway point-ish of the season, so let's bring in our own Ian Wilson for some analysis and thoughts on the first few weeks of the season and what's to come. Ian, let's start in the East, shall we? And what are maybe some of the big storylines in your eyes as we look at those 6 teams?
Well, I think before you even get to the East, let's get the elephant out of the room, which has been like the rainouts and the weather. And it's, I'm praying that I'm doing the opposite of the farmer prayer and I'm not praying for rain.
No rain dance from Ian Wilson.
No, exactly. No, just bring on the sun. And we're starting to see a little bit of that, knock on some wood. So I think that's been a storyline that's affected all the teams, is just how many games have been suspended or postponed. And, we're starting to see a lot of double headers now. So that's been an overarching, big deal. And that's going to have big implications on all the teams in one fashion or another. Some teams will weather that, pardon the pun, better than others. To your question about the East, the big story, I really like what I've seen out of the Moose Jaw Miller Express. They've just kind of steadily been there. I think last year, they had come off a couple of 2 finals in 3 years, and they kind of did that thing where they were like a 500 team during the season. This year, they're putting together a much better season.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot of returning veterans who are back on that team, and they're just like, they play with a chip on their shoulder. They play the right way. I just really like what they've done there. And the Saskatoon Berries, who lead the division, I'm not sure they've hit their stride yet. They still have a lot of talent there. They've lost a lot of talent in Carter Beck and Ethan Menard, but they're at top of the standings, or have been like much of the year. And I think they're like, of course they want to, it's their all-star hosting year. They want to win a title. That's huge priority for them. So I've got an eye on after the last 2 years of just making waves, what they can do come playoffs. And then the rest of that division is just, man, it's scrappy. Like it's like, 4 teams fighting for 2 playoff spots. The one that has interested me is the Swift Current 57s. They kind of changed everything over. They brought in a new coach and a new system, and they've had, like, it hasn't been a flawless transition by any means, but they just seem like they're forging an identity, which is really interesting to see. And they've got those power hitters and Jake Kiramoto and Keegan Noller that are just, hitting homers like crazy. And, I just feel like they're kind of building something there. And I hope so. Like it's an important market. It's a good historic market. Weyburn has been like, they're kind of quietly better too. So I think it doesn't feel like there's soft spots in that division. It doesn't feel like there's an easy win on any given night. And there probably are some easy wins, but you just don't know when they're going to come. So I don't know. I'll flip that back to you. What have you seen in the East that intrigues you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that has taken me by surprise maybe is the defending champion Regina Red Sox not being the defending champion Regina Red Sox to a certain extent. There hasn't been that carryover from that team at all. They haven't really seemed to get their feet under them, which has been a real big surprise to me. I was also really shocked that Medicine Hat hasn't been as dominant as I thought they would be heading into the season. They've got such a massive number of players, especially in the batting order, who are returning veterans, who I thought, hey, this is a team that's going to be just lighting it up. And they have been offensively, but the pitching just hasn't come around for them yet. And so they're dabbling in there with Swift Current and Weyburn for those final 2 spots and really making it interesting, despite the fact that I think going into the season, a lot of people were like, the top 4 are going to be the top 4, and Weyburn and Swift will be kind of on the outside looking in, but might be getting a little bit closer to, maybe at the time, I was thinking maybe Moose Jaw might be that 4th team. To your point, they've really shown out in a big way because of the veteran presence, especially when you've got Weston Walls, Jacob Glazner. They've picked up Sean Bavis, the reigning CCBC pitcher of the year. Like they've got a solid lineup. And then again, to your point with Saskatoon, is they've just quietly been doing the Saskatoon thing. I don't think they're going to be as dominant per se as they were last year, but they are going to be very, very difficult to beat through the course of the rest of the season. So yeah, it's a fun division to watch for sure. I just don't know how the rest of the season is going to play out over there. Now on the flip side,
is Medicine Hat, sorry, before you go to the West, is Medicine Hat possibly last year's Regina Red Sox, where they're just kind of humming along and then things click in the playoffs? I don't know. Regina definitely caught everyone by surprise when the playoffs came last year. I wonder if Medicine Hat has that in them this year.
I would not be shocked by that, and here's why. And talking to a few players from different teams that are maybe on the outside looking in or having weaker seasons, and they've been saying, listen, like, we needed that first 2 or 3 weeks to really find our identity, find some roles for everybody. As an example, like, you look at Brooks, for example, and on this episode we're chatting with Kaleb Bozek of the Brooks Bombers, and he said, we're all just trying to figure out like who's playing what role, right? Like a lot of the veteran teams, they've known for a year or two, hey, this is what I do during the summer, so you just kind of rinse, lather, repeat. There's going to be that interesting spot for the Medicine Hat Mavericks where the batting order, which has been the number 2 or 3 offense all season already, they know what they're doing. It's the pitching staff that has been like, hey, we're new here. And Derek Archer has been kind of their go-to main dude out there. But then it's been a bunch of question marks, and they've put together some wins in the last couple of weeks. It makes me think, hey, you know what? If they can get rolling a little bit, if they can get some timely pitching, if they can get some guys playing in roles that they know where they're going to be, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked by it at all, to be honest with you, especially if they take, say a team like Saskatoon or a team like Moose Jaw takes them for granted, thinking, hey, maybe we're going to take the easy street to the WCBL East Division final or the final. They might get an eye-opening experience going into Athletic Park, as an example.
For sure.
On that note, let's flip over to the East. Like I said, on the other side of the coin here, as much as it's kind of a dog's breakfast in the East Division, the West Division, it's a dog's breakfast, but two different breakfasts. What are you seeing out of that division?
It's fascinating is it's a bit of a carryover from last year in terms of the top three and then the rest of the division, right? Like you've really seen the Dogs, Sylvan Lake, and Lethbridge establish themselves and say, we're going to compete for the top spot in the division. We're clearly the three best teams, and the other three are like, we want to make playoffs. Can we please find a way to make playoffs? And I think, and I'll go through those top three just really quickly. The Dogs, you know what? Like, there's not many teams that would lose in the playoffs, I'll miss out on a four-peat and kind of be ticked off about it.
Yeah.
Okotoks is that team. They expect to win it all every year. They often have the horses to do so. And I think this year they've shown, to this point of the season, they're back. They're not messing around. They're firing on all cylinders most of the time. Their pitching is better. And I just think they've assembled a better roster. The loss of Ashton Loera out of their bullpen, who went pro with Quebec, that's going to sting a bit because we know he's a gamer, and he was definitely a huge part of their playoff success in 2024. And then Lethbridge, I look at Lethbridge, and they also have a big hole from a player going pro as well in Carter Clarehout. Right, that's a big bat in their lineup. But I did like heading into the season what I saw on paper from Lethbridge, and it's largely translated, and it's largely the hitting side of things. Like they kind of attack by committee. Got some good bats. They've had decent pitching as well. I worry a little bit about their pitching going forward, meaning playoffs. But that's a very good team. And then Sylvan Lake's just they've done nothing to really give up ground either. They've got a good team. It seems like they keep bringing in guys. Elijah Hamill's on that team now, and
Gavin Roy,
Gavin Roy comes back,
Cooper
and
Sazelski's back.
All those guys, and they seem to get strong throughout the season. They quietly did that last year too, and Sylvan Lake, they're very gracious. I think they were gracious in defeat in that stinging final last year. But deep down they're like, we want this. We really want the championship. We've been a good team since we joined the league, and we want rings. So I'm not going to count any of those three teams out. The rest of the way, I don't know. Like I'm waiting for one of those three teams between Brooks and Fort Mac and the Cactus Rats to kind of take the mantle and be like, no, like this playoff spot's ours. So we'll see who emerges there. It was kind of the same thing last year, right? So we'll see what shakes out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wants first place the most and who wants fourth place the most in that division, for sure. And I echo a lot of the sentiments you had. I think Lethbridge, I knew going into the season with a very big veteran presence at the plate again, they were going to be a tough team. Brett Getz has been as advertised as far as kind of coming in and steadying the ship a little bit along with a couple of other veteran pitchers. So they've kind of been able to weather some of the storm that maybe we felt they might feel feel with guys like Levi Abbott graduating out as an example. Same thing can be said in Sylvan Lake. Is I think there was a little bit of a thought of, oh no Josh Tucker this year. Oh no Tyler Boudreau this year. Like, what's going to happen here? And they've quietly just gone about their business and done things, brought in the right players, and you've also had some emergence, right? Like, and this will segue really well into the next spot about the All-Star game. The All-Star roster has been announced. Kai Rempel is an all-star. Here's a guy who has been a friend of the show, obviously. Really, really great to chat with him on an everyday basis, it feels like. And he's a guy who has upped his game, and that was sort of the expectation with the Matthew McKenzies of the group and some of those other pitchers. The Sylvan Lake Gulls don't really have a weak spot, and they've got some pretty good all-stars. Let's talk about the all-stars here, Ian, and we won't go through all the lists, but maybe give me 2 or 3 names on your radar who you're like, I'm super excited to see what they can do in the all-star game format.
Yeah, there's so many names, right? I think maybe we should let the listeners know a little bit about the process, or the process as I know it. Mm-hmm. I may not get have the I's dotted and T's crossed 100% correctly on this, but it seems as though each team nominates 5 players from their roster to be in the All-Star game. There are 2 pitchers from each team put forward. And then you get 3 batters. And of the 3 batters, I believe one of them needs to be a catcher, or, someone who can catch, right? So it gets a little bit catcher heavy. There's probably, you might look at some of the batters and be like, well, why is this catcher who's not, his hitting numbers aren't the same as, some of the outfielders and infielders on the team. That seems to be kind of the process. And you need a lot of catchers. You need a lot of pitchers. And, there's definitely going to be some guys that don't make the cut. Another reminder to people is that there could be guys who have had great first halves who are leaving, or who have left, right? Mm-hmm. Or are planning on leaving right before that date. We've seen that happen before, where players leave right before the All-Star game. They get other opportunities. Something comes up. Their school says, no, sorry, you've reached your at-bats limit, you've reached your innings pitched limit, come on home and chill out and get ready for the school year, right? So there can be things at play involving players who do not make the roster I guess we just don't know all the stuff behind the scenes that goes on there. But it's a great crop from what we've seen. In terms of specific players, I get kind of torn, because I love to see some of the veterans come back, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I love that Connor Croson's in his last year. He's been kind of everything for the Dogs. And so it's great to see a guy like that come back and be a part of it. On the flip side, you get, the people's hero, Jake Hiramoto in Swift Current, him and his Homer happy buddy, Keegan Noller. Like, I assume one of them, maybe they have to flip a coin to see which one of them gets to be in the home run derby. Yeah. We'll see. But, I want to see those guys show out, right? Yeah. And pitching side, like another dog that I like, Wyatt Sadler, you had him on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Interesting story, interesting kid. And he's just had great numbers so far. In the East, like Ethan Murdoch, man, he's been good forever. He's been an all-star since he was in Swift Current. Love watching him play. Some of the Millers, like, I feel like the Millers guys, whether it's Weston Walls, who's just been a workhorse for years, and he's just been fantastic. Thomas Soto, who might break the stolen base record this year. Bring it all on, Like, I want to see all these. I want to see the guys that we've talked to and I've met. Some of them, like, I'm excited to see those guys and see those faces again. And like I said, some of them who have their last opportunity at this, I'm excited to see. And then some of the guys, I'm like, I don't really know much about this player. Like, let's see what they can do. So I don't know, any names in particular that you're like, I want to see that guy.
Yeah, you know what? When you mentioned the flying Hawaiian, I had to go, just based off the conversation that we had on the pod a couple of weeks ago, I got to tell you, Jake Hiramoto, like I want to shake his hand first off and like just feed off the energy a little bit, because man, oh man, does he have that in spades. Really enjoyed our chats with Braden Maincourt earlier on in the season as well. You had a couple of great conversations with Thomas Soto and William Edwards out in Moose Jaw. Like, there's been so many cool stories, and to your point, like, I can't wait for you to get to chat with Gavin Panks as an example, or Lucas Geisler, who's a Saskatchewan product who gets to do the All-Star game in his home province, right? Like, that's going to be super cool. And then on the West Division side, to your point, like, we've known Connor Croson since he was knee high to a grasshopper, right? So to get to see him do this one more time, Caleb Haney, same kind of thing. We've seen him be an All-Star game MVP already once before. Nick Sauve's got a great story as well. Nico Suave setting the record for home runs by a Fort McMurray Giants player in his career, doing it this season already, and he's still got 5 weeks left. And I think from a pitching perspective too, like, you think about some of the great storylines. I mentioned Kai Rempel earlier. You mentioned Wyatt Sadler. Brett Getz, again, great story. A guy who's highly touted coming out of high school in Vauxhall, doing what he's been doing has been fantastic to watch. And also some of the lesser known guys, like a Jack Swanberg, who had a fantastic outing the other night in Brooks. Like, there's just so many cool stories, and especially I love the story of the journeys, right? Like how a guy from Hawaii or Florida or the Texas Panhandle or whatever the case may be happen to be in Alberta or Saskatchewan. It's going to be an absolutely fun time. And again, fun time not only for the home runs, but you finally get to do a victory lap, Ian Wilson. You finally got what you were hoping for. The bunt competition is coming to the WCBL All-Star Weekend. How stoked are you to finally see this thing come to fruition?
I might be the only one cheering, and I might be the only one watching that. Like, let's be honest, like, other people, I don't know. I'm trying to remember where it fits in the schedule and whether that's going to be like a concession break for some people, or like I need to go to the bathroom. But I'm going to be like, yeah, I want to see what the targets look like. I want to see what the format looks like. And I just like, it's just that small, goofy part of the game that, like, everyone loves homers. Like, it's not hard to get behind a home run derby. I love the derby too. I'm not pretending like the bunt competition is necessarily better than the home run derby, but I just like that it's a little bit different. It's a little bit like, these are the skills, man. Like, these are the things that coaches love, a player who can throw down the perfect bunt. And I just want to see how it all shakes out, what the format is, and what guys can pull off, right? Like, guys come up to summer ball to work on different things, and I'm not convinced that bunting is one of them. But hey, talk to Ricky Sanchez, and when he was facing the Lethbridge Bulls in the 13th inning, Game 3 of the playoffs, about the importance of a well-placed bunt at the right time, right? So he pulls off the suicide squeeze to win the game in that one and propel the Dogs to the next round of the playoffs against the Bulls. Like, these are skills that have a place in the game. They're important. And I don't know about you, but when I watch like an MLB game, there's so many times where I'm watching and like it's the right time to bunt a guy over, right? Whether that's like with the ghost runner in extra innings, or just like, can we find a way to get this person to second base, right?
Yep.
And it doesn't happen, and it bugs me. Like, I'm just like, and there are other people out there, and I know they exist. They never want to see a bunt. They don't want to see it happen at all. They hate bunting.
Yep.
So for me, I'm all for it. I can't wait to see it. It's a kind of a goofier event. I have some other ideas of like all-star competitions that I won't necessarily share right now, that I've pitched to people in the league that I want to see happen in the future. But I'm pumped about that, man. Like I couldn't tell you, I couldn't put a list together right now of players who would be in this. So I'm intrigued to just see who's competing in this. Mm-hmm. Like which kid on which team is going to be like, I have to do this. Like, this is, yes. Like, I want to see who those guys are, and they'll be fun to talk to for sure.
I am so excited to hear the post-event analysis as well, because I've done that with the home run derby, and the guy's like, my arms are ready to fall off, or my back is hurting, or whatever the case may be. It's almost the exact opposite when it comes to the bunt competition, right? Like, I can't wait to hear you asking those questions about, like, what's your mindset going into this, right? Like, what are you looking for to make sure that you can get the perfect pitch to get that perfect bunt towards the target that is wherever it's going to be laid out? Like, the format's going to be so interesting to see how that all plays out. And I get the feeling we're going to be hearing about that from the Saskatoon Berries sometime next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you know what? You've got my brain tweaking a bit, because now I'm thinking of, like, in the home run derby, the importance of, like, the pitching, right, to the batter and getting into a groove to, like, launch them. What's that going to be like in the bunt competition?
Yeah.
Like, a guy's going to have to throw the right amount of heat. Like, that sounds like a different art form in itself. Like, there's a lot of pressure on the guy, whoever's tossing to the bunter, right? Like, it's and you know what? Selfishly, as a person who will be doing interviews after that event, no one is going to be out of breath.
No,
so I should get some good content and some good interviews, because guys won't be huffing and puffing and arms falling off. They'll be like, no, I got plenty of time, man. Like, ask me whatever.
It's going to be so good. Also, I will float an idea out there. I don't know if this is on your radar. It is shocking to me that this is not part of MLB All-Star Weekend at all, and never has been. It should be, and it should be in the WCBL at some point. The fastest runner competition. You start from first, and you got to go all the way home, and you have to slide home. And you do it in the fastest amount of time. I don't see why that isn't an event in the WCBL All-Star Weekend, but there's my pitch to the deciders of the 2027 event.
You're tweaking something again, because my other idea, I don't know if you've been around, like, kids ball diamonds and what they do, but in my daughter's softball, one of the most popular things ever was the base race.
Yeah.
So that's where you get, and are you familiar with that and how that works?
Of course. Yep.
Yeah, so you get each team lining up on first and third. One of the coaches goes to the pitcher's mound, throws the ball in the air. When it hits, it's like a relay, right, around the bases. And I would love to see that. Like, maybe it's not like a whole team of players doing this, but you get like 4 players from the East and the West doing this relay around the bases. I'm all for it, man. Like, yeah. And you know what? They've done that. They've done the fastest. I know in, like, some of our articles that I've done, like, research on, they used to do some of this, like, for all-star events, was measuring the fastest runner, whether it was starting from home and going back home, like around the bases, or starting at first and going home. They used to do this. So I'm with you, man. Let's see the speedsters. What has Thomas Soto got? He's got all the stolen bases this year. Is he the fastest, though, or is he just good at reading pitchers? Or,
I don't know if you noticed, but Nash Kroll has a handful of stolen bases already this year. Is he the guy? Is he the Josh Naylor who somehow manages to swipe a bunch of bases and has actually sneaky quietly fast, or deceptively slow? I don't know.
Do you know how many stolen bases Connor Croson has?
Not off the top of my head. You're looking at the stats now, aren't you?
No, I'm not looking. I know this because I was watching. He might even have more than this. He's got 10. He picked up his 10th against Saskatoon this week. And he's a corner infielder. He's not, and we've seen him. I love Connor. This is not a diss, but you do not look like the fastest person you've got. I get some Josh Naylor vibes from Connor Croson as well, and he's so kudos to him. You got to take what you can get.
I just love the idea, and especially from the showmanship perspective, is if you do the first to home or even the home to home race. Can you imagine if you're in the crowd and you're watching this play out, and the announcer in house is like, once he touches third base, you all go crazy. It's like the last quarter mile at the Chuck Wagons, right? Like, do it that way.
Yeah.
You get so much buy-in, and fans are going to go crazy, and everybody, like, I can see it being a winner. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Final notes from you, Ian Wilson. How stoked are you about an all-star weekend, and also something a little different, because we've done it 4 years now in Okotoks. How excited are you to see something different and see what the Saskatoon Berries bring to the table?
I'm totally pumped. And you know what? First of all, hats off to Okotoks, who coming out of the pandemic, they did it, 4 years in a row. Tyler Milton at the helm there in Okotoks. And everyone did a fantastic job with that event over the last 4 years. We had, last year, obviously there was a rain out. It was shortened by the rain, but they just did such a good job putting that show on. I am excited to see Saskatoon. It's a little bit different. Like you said, it's a weekend. Yeah. So we're extending that day, which is nice. Let it breathe a bit. Let's do the bunt thing and the homer thing on the one day. Let's do the game the next day. Let's have a concert in there on Saturday night. Like I love that format and that schedule. And the Berries do things differently. They do things their own way. And I'm here for it. Like I want to see what kind of show they put on. And, we've seen the jersey reveal already. They've gone with that watermelon theme, which is great for Saskatchewan. And, the Rider fans love it out there. And they're like, it's just a good look. I have a hat and a jersey in my house, and my wife saw it the other day and she's like, what is this? This looks sharp. I like. She was digging it, right? So, So I just, I can't wait to see it. I've talked to some colleagues, both with the league as well as media personalities who are going to be in attendance. They're looking forward to it, and bring it on. Like I think Saskatoon, they're top-notch organization. They'll put on a good show, and I just can't wait to see it come to life under their guidance.
And I can't wait for you to come back home and bring me my brand new hats and my brand new jerseys, and it's going to be fantastic. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe the Berries will give me some freebies. That'd be fantastic. Ian, looking forward to, obviously, the All-Star game. You're going to be joining me down for the road to Okotoks for a few days as well before you get down there as well. So always a pleasure getting a chance to chat it up with you. Thanks so much for hopping on the show.
Thanks for having me, Joe. I look forward to seeing you in Okotoks, and bring on the All-Star event. Bring on the second half of the season too, man. It's gonna get fun. It gets to be a race. The final week of the season, and then that playoffs, the postseason. We've been so blessed with great postseasons, no matter what the regular season has brought in the WCBL. I cannot wait to see it all unfold.
Big thanks again to Beth Sarauer, Kaleb Bozek, and Ian Wilson for joining us on the show this week, and thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. We mentioned it earlier on in the show, but the road to Okotoks is upon us, and I'll be there every day as part of the live broadcasts on HN Live. I'll be the color commentator, for example, next to the great Peter Loubardias for the first game featuring Dogs Black on Tuesday night. So tune in if you're able, or come to the ballpark if you're around Okotoks. Now, that being said, we're planning to go daily once again with the podcast here with guests from all 16 teams taking part. So make sure you hit subscribe and don't miss a moment of the action. Hopefully, we'll give you your fill of baseball every day starting Tuesday morning. Ian will also be heading to Saskatoon for the WCBL All-Star Game next weekend. He'll be bringing us some great conversations from that event for an episode that we'll be bringing to you the following week as well. It's going to be a busy time indeed, and we hope you enjoy all the additional content we have here on the show and over on our websites. Before we go, a tip of the cap to our Platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs and Under the Light Sports and Entertainment, for their generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our province. For more on our tremendous teammates, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.